So, last night I spent maybe 20 minutes just watching a raccoon completely deconstruct the latches on my new quote-unquote raccoon-proof trash bin.
Oh, yeah. They always find a way.
Right. It didn't even force anything. It just like methodically analyzed the mechanical dependencies until click it was in. I mean, I couldn't even be mad at the little guy.
Well, they're basically relentless system engineers, you know. They just map out the architecture of a problem and methodically bypass all the friction.
Which actually perfectly mirrors what we are looking at today in this deep dive for intellectually curious. You know, a space for optimistic minds exploring the wonders of the universe.
That's a great fit.
Because you sent over the press release for Canonical's new Ubuntu 26.04 LTS. And naturally, it's codenamed Resolute Raccoon. So our mission for you, the listener, is to figure out why this isn't just, a routine patch.
What's from it, yeah.
It's essentially trying to eliminate the structural friction in AI development and secure computing, right from the silicon all the way up.
And that really starts right at the foundational layer.
Right. So the headline here is that Ubuntu 26.04 is baking NVIDIA CUDA and AMD ROCm directly into the software repositories, and that's running on the Linux 7.0 kernel, right?
Exactly. And it's also specifically optimized for Intel Panther Lake NPUs to handle AI super efficiently.
Which is huge. It's kind of like buying a high-performance sports car that already has professional racing tires installed, zero extra assembly required to just get up to speed. But honestly, as someone who has spent hours in, dependency hell trying to get GPU drivers to talk to an AI framework, how are they actually achieving this natively?
Well, normally the Linux kernel and those proprietary GPU toolkits are, they're speaking entirely different dialects.
Oh, tell me about it.
Right? You're usually patching together third-party drivers. And if one piece updates, the whole stack can just collapse. So by validating and integrating CDA and ROCm natively into the 7.0 kernel repositories, Canonical is essentially providing a universal translator out of the box.
Wow. So instead of me manually acting as the mediator between the hardware and the AI framework, the operating system natively just understands the silicon.
That's the exact goal. And by bringing Intel's Panther Lake neural processing units into that same streamlined environment, they're managing power efficiency right at the kernel level.
So you aren't burning server-grade wattage to run local AI tasks on a laptop.
Exactly. They're turning the OS into a frictionless conduit for AI, whether you're in a massive data center or just sitting at a coffee shop.
Which is incredible. And, building these AI tools requires great infrastructure, but it also requires strategy, which is why this deep dive is sponsored by Embersilk.
Yeah, a fantastic resource.
Right. So if you need help with AI training or automation or integration or software development or even just uncovering where agents could make the most impact for your business or personal life, you should really check out embersilk.com for your AI needs.
It's so true, because once you have that AI power, you have to keep these incredible new systems running securely.
Right. Power means nothing if the system is brittle. Which brings us to the security architecture of 26.04. They're introducing TPM-backed full disk encryption and bringing Canonical Live Patch to ARM64 architectures.
And those are critical mechanism shifts.
Right.
With TPM-backed encryption, the cryptographic keys are physically bound to a dedicated chip on the motherboard.
Okay, meaning if someone physically steals the hard drive, it's useless.
Precisely, because the drive itself can't decrypt the data without verifying the host hardware's integrity first.
That's brilliant. And what about the Live Patch extension to ARM64? I mean, I know it means rebootless updates, but mechanically, how are you patching a foundational kernel while the server is actively running?
It's essentially hot swapping code in active memory. So Live Patch routes the system's execution path around the vulnerable kernel code, inserts the patched code, and redirects traffic through the safe route.
Wait, all while the machine is running?
Yeah, all in milliseconds, without ever halting the machine.
That is absolutely wild. But here's the part of the release that genuinely made me pause. They are doing a historic rewrite of foundational utilities, things like sudo and else into Rust.
Yes, a massive undertaking.
Right. And I get that Rust is the new industry standard, but sudo has been the gatekeeper of Linux permissions for literally decades. Why rip out the foundation of the house when the plumbing still works fine?
Well, because the old plumbing relies on absolute human perfection. Those legacy utilities were built in memory unmanaged languages.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so a single pointer error by a developer 20 years ago can suddenly become an exploit today. Rust completely changes the paradigm. The underlying logic of the Rust compiler forces it to catch memory leaks and buffer overflows before the software ever runs.
Wait, really? So if the memory isn't safely managed, it just won't compile at all?
Exactly. It simply will not compile.
Ah, so it's not even about patching vulnerabilities faster. It's about making certain classes of vulnerabilities basically mathematically impossible to ship in the first place.
And that is the profound optimism of this release. By proactively migrating core utilities to memory-safe languages, Canonical is raising the security baseline for millions.
They really are.
Yeah, they're proving that our digital infrastructure is getting safer, smarter, and more resilient every single day.
Which really leaves you with an interesting thought to chew on. If our operating systems become entirely memory safe, and if they can update their own kernels without ever needing a reboot, do we eventually stop interacting with the OS entirely?
It's very possible.
Right. Imagine the boundless human creativity that will be unlocked when we spend less time maintaining systems and entirely focus on inventing with them. The OS could just disappear into the background as an invisible, self-maintaining fabric.
It really is a bright future.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to the show. Hey, leave us a 5-star review if you can. It really does help get the word out. Thanks for tuning in.